and we get to pick the brains of some really amazing realtors. So, first and foremost, you guys, are those on? Testing?
Testing.
Okay, before we introduce you, because we don't know who you are, how do you say this word? One at a time. I just want to know.
However you want.
I say realtor.
Okay,
Yeah, I say realtor also.
okay. You say realtor? I want to hear you say it.
Realtor.
Who says realtor? A lot of people, my husband says realtor all the time. I'm like, okay, I love you. I love you so much. Okay, so first that was the icebreaker if you didn't know. I'm Lisa Blanding with First Coast Mortgage Funding. I am, I've never spoken in public before, so bear with me for just a moment. And I don't like to be on film, and I know I have like cameras on me and stuff. It's super shy. So we're gonna just introduce ourselves. Go ahead.
All right. I'm Sarah Gentry. I'm with the 904 Home Guide team with Real Brokerage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm Elizabeth Elliott. I'm with Roundtable Realty.
I am Taylor Diaz. I am with the Rocco Group at Keller Williams Realty.
Guys, thank you so much for doing this. Like, this is like the class I'm most excited about because you guys are killing it and you're new to the industry, and although I have a lot of experience in mortgage, I'm also new to the industry in the sales side, so super, super excited. So I'm just gonna ask you some questions. Feel free to tell the truth. Let it all out. Sharing is caring, okay? So all your secrets, let it all out, okay? Because your light shines so bright and it doesn't dim anybody else's, vice versa. So sharing is caring. Okay. Oh, you guys have some wonderful note cards. Some of you has index cards and some of you some paper because we're thrifty like that. So if you have any questions, if you think of any questions, write them down. And Aaron Backus, he's a handsome guy right back there. Raise your hand, Aaron. I don't know if you guys know him, right back there. He will be collecting them. So if you have a question, just like put it, like move it down and like raise your hand and he will be watching you guys, okay? So that we'll ask the questions just intermittently, okay? So how long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor for 2 years.
2 years. Okay, so that is quite new. And what a time to do it when the market's all cray-cray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Okay. Liz, 18 months? 18 months? Yeah. You're still in diapers.
I'm a toddler.
Right?
Yeah, I'm a realtor toddler. And I'm just over 3 years.
Just over 3. That's very new, you guys. Very, very new. So this industry is tough, and you guys, I hear, have nailed it and are nailing it. So congratulations to you. So what made you decide, yep, real estate's for me? And what did you do prior?
Are we going in a row the whole time?
It's whoever wants to. You guys don't, I mean, you don't have to answer every single question, but somebody has to answer at least a question. So whoever wants to go to say, hey, I got that, I'll answer it.
Okay, I will start. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but I actually used to work in the medical field. From the time I can remember, maybe 3 or 4 years old, I swore I was going to be a doctor, whether it was a vet or an OBGYN. I always wanted to be in medicine. That's what I went to school for. I worked in the medical field for 4 years, I think it was. And I finally just decided, hey, I love helping people, but I cannot stand being inside 4 white walls all day, every day, not knowing if it was raining or sunny. And I do come from a family of realtors. My dad and my mom are both licensed, so I kind of grew up around it. I always remembered going to open houses on weekends. I love interior design, I love architecture, and I just said, hey, what's something I can still do where it's touching a lot of those things that I love, but I'm still helping people? And I realized that that was real estate. So right as COVID started to hit, I decided I was going to leave a stable job in the medical field and go get my real estate license. And of course, the day the world shut down was the day I was supposed to take my state exam. So then I was on a hiatus for months until I could actually take my state exam.
Wow.
And that's how I got started. Haven't looked back since.
Well, we're glad you did. Anyone else?
I was in social media management for a realtor named Stevie Hahn, and I ran her Instagram page and handled all of her incoming leads that came in. And I watched her help so many families and couples and first-time home buyers, and really kind of watched it unfold and really enjoyed it, that I decided to take the leap and jump in.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I have a very interesting, this is my third career. My third career. Not because I don't love the other ones, but I actually went and I got my bachelor's and master's in music at UF and UM.
Wow.
And I taught high school band for 3 years, so band geek over here. And then I went and did that for the Army for 5 years. And I conducted up in Washington, D.C. with the Army band. And it was amazing. And I had babies, right? Or actually, I had baby at the time in 2020. Same thing, COVID changes everybody's lives. And between PCSing, during maternity leave, all the things happening during that time, and not getting to perform, for a year straight, this was not for me. Between, Army, you are property of the government, so I wanted to be the mom that I wanted to be. And so I didn't have plans to get into real estate. I said, I'm getting out. I'm an officer, I'm a free agent, I can get out whenever. So I got out, and I was a mom for a full year. I just wanted to do that. That's actually my only plans, was just to do that. Being a stay-at-home mom is actually the hardest job in the world. And I was pregnant during that 1 year, and I was like, man, I miss people. I miss talking to other adults. And I love helping people. I think that's the one thing that translates through teaching and being an officer in charge of other soldiers, is you're taking care of people. And anyway, talking to my best friends, guys, what am I going to do when these kids are in kindergarten? I had a 2-month-old at the time. And they're like, you'd be really good at real estate. Have you thought about that? I'm like, okay. And I bought a few homes, and guys, it takes a week to get your license. It took like a week. And have my license, and then hit the ground running, and here we are. So I don't know how to do anything part-time. So.
It's all or nothing, right? I always say God didn't give you half a butt, so just use it all. You might as well. You might as well. That's for my kids. Hopefully they'll be watching this. Okay, so we've all had our first sale, right? Our first closing. Can you tell me some details of your first sale?
Mine was an investor. We saw 46 homes within the week. Yeah, right, rookie mistake on that one. And he finally settled on a house, and I remember it was the day of closing, 30 minutes before we're at our final walkthrough, and the moving truck's still there, and the house is full of stuff. But he insisted on closing anyways, and it was the seller and the buyer were both at the table, while the seller's brother, who was the agent, was still moving stuff out. And it was a very tense closing table, and words were exchanged, and I was like, is this the business? This is a lot. So,
And you're welcome.
But we made it, and we closed, and everything's fine, and he's happy, and called me back up like a month ago to get another one, so I think I did okay.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, so
That's
that was a rough
awesome.
one.
That is an initiation sale right there. You got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mine was actually full opposite of Sarah's. It was probably the easiest, most straightforward transaction I have had, ironically.
You guys don't hate her. She's awesome.
Trust me, I have many stories to tell other than this one. But it was actually a sphere agent referral, because I also have a lot of friends that are in the industry from back home. They were moving up here. That was a young family. We just went a new construction route. It was a quick move-in, and there's not much to tell about it, to be honest. But it was a good first experience, and right off the bat dipped my toes into the new construction world. So it was a good experience.
Nice.
So I have 2 stories that come to mind. One
Go
is
for it.
the buy side, and one was the list side. So just tell me which one you want.
I want them both.
Oh God, no. Okay, so the buy side, I'll make it really fast. I went to Marker 32, got a Valley Girl Martini. The girl next to me was scrolling Zillow. I was like, who's buying a house? And I waited 20 minutes, and then I interrupted her conversation. And I'm just like, hey girl. Anyway, a week later, we were under contract for a condo in the Bergman Plaza.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
Guys, she was slightly. Anyway, moving on. First listing though was really cool. I was helping a friend of mine help her find a commercial space. Hey, can you help her find a commercial space? yes, I can do that. And so we were doing that, and while we were getting her under contract for her commercial space, she said, I need to list my house, and I'm gonna list it for 1.963 million in Deer Creek. And I'm like, I can do that. So no one ever thought that would ever happen, but it happened, and that was a fun process, and I had a lot of help. So that was my first listing.
I love it. Those are amazing stories. They really are. We all, I'm sure, we remember our first time doing a closing and going to the closing. You'll always remember that, and you can share that with other people to encourage, not discourage them to get into the business. So that's awesome. So are all of you full-time realtors or part-time realtor? If you are full-time, was it a gradual progression, or did you just come in guns a-blazing? You have the mic? You might as well.
So, like I said, I wanted to find something I could take 5 years to get into, because my kid was just born, and I was like, what am I gonna do in 5 years? I just, in my opinion, if you wanna be successful in real estate, I'm gonna say it, okay, I'm just gonna say it, it can't be part-time. Like, not if you wanna be really, really good, and you wanna be on the hot sheets every day, and really helping people. So I couldn't. I wanted to, but I couldn't. And I started out putting my kid at a nanny twice a week for a few hours to get trained up, and then it became every day for half a day, and then it was like, oh my God, I have a full-time nanny, I gotta get this kid in daycare. So, you know, it just happened that way. It took about 6 months to go from having my license to having my child in full-time care and going balls to the wall. It did take time.
Balls
but
to the wall.
Balls to the wall.
She said it, guys, it's out
I'm
there.
an eloquent lady.
Your person.
Now that's the icebreaker.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, I started in the medical field and I tried to get licensed in the midst of COVID. I don't know why that was my bright idea. So I was part-time when I first started for about the first, I'd say it was 6 to 9 months, give or take. And that's because I was still in the medical field. I was one of those people where I was like, hey, I can do this part-time, and I still need a paycheck coming in. And I very quickly realized I cannot do this part-time. If I'm going to get to where I want to get, I have to fully dive in. I have to immerse myself in the industry. I have to learn everything I can learn. And that is when I made that flip the switch and decided, hey, I'm leaving the medical field, I'm leaving that security, and I'm going into the real estate world in the middle of COVID. So it took me about 9 months, I'd say, to go full time.
It's a bit different. So me and my fiance run a pest control company, and I was doing that full time when I hopped into real estate. And I would say it was more part-time to begin with, but luckily I relied a lot on my team and had people behind me to support, so there was not any drop in communication with whatever deals I did have. But as I picked up and got busier and I really fell in love with what I was doing, I had to sit down and have that conversation with the owners of the pest control company saying, you know, I can continue to do stuff, but it's going to be at night, or it's going to be just little pockets here and there. So they ended up hiring another admin to cover me so I can continue doing real estate full time. I've never been like a one job person. Since I was 16, I've always had about 3 jobs at a time. I like to stay busy and a kid. So I just kind of keep a bunch of things going at once. Real estate, I will say, is my full time, but I still have other streams of income coming on right now. So
That is awesome. So it's safe to say that each one of you, what I heard in your stories is that at some point during your diving into your real estate business, starting off full time, you had a light bulb moment, right? That said, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, or just right now. Don't be scared. So, light bulb moments, that's awesome. Do you guys have any pets? I'm just curious. Because I have 2 toddler boys, so I think that counts.
I have a dog and a cat.
So yes,
boys
the
are-
answer is
okay.
yes. I have 5 boys, so I get it.
Oh my. Glad.
I have a 7-year-old son and a dog and a cat. So yeah. But the cat doesn't come out. She doesn't really count. No one even
They
thinks I
hide,
have
don't
her.
they?
Yeah, she doesn't come out.
Yeah.
So she doesn't.
At night they do.
I don't have any kids, but I do have a husband that I think is a kid. But no, I do have 1 dog and 2 cats. They definitely keep me busy.
I love it. I love it. The question was, do you have any pets? And each one of them said humans. I'm just going to point that out. What was your first car? Your very first car.
I had a lovely cobalt blue Honda Civic that did not have automatic locks.
Let's go for Honda.
Yeah. Did its job, that's all I can
That's
say.
right.
I had a lime green neon, like a neon green Scion XB. It was like that limited edition one. They only put like one color out a year with the TVs in the back. Thought it was the coolest thing ever.
And it is.
My husband's dad called it the green latrine. And his best friend called it the Ninja Turtle getaway car.
Oh my God.
I loved that car.
I had an 03 Honda Accord with Hello Kitty seats and a glitter Laker sticker on the back window.
Needless to say, they are not showing up at listing appointments in those vehicles right now. Okay, yeah, what do you drive now? Let's do it.
I drive a beat up Hyundai Tucson outside.
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
ride that thing till the wheels fall off.
That's right.
Car payments nowadays are not my forte.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm not a big car girl, so I go for efficiency, and I have a Nissan Rogue that gets me 28 to 34 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We drive too much.
Don't hate me, okay? Some people are gonna hate me after I say this.
We're not.
I talked to my accountant, okay, first of all, and I got permission, okay? But I spent way too much on gas in my first year in real estate. I was driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee. We still have the Jeep Grand Cherokee. That is the hoopty that the husband drives now, and I drive a Tesla X.
There you go.
But I love it, and I
As long
just
as you
charge
love
it.
it does the job.
It's my
And
dream.
listen, we're all living our dream, so you're allowed.
There you go.
I'll allow
I
it.
finally have my dream.
I love it. So we're gonna dig a little bit deeper, okay? Are you guys ready to like dig in? How much time do I have? I'm horrible at time. So we can be here till noon. Like,
You're good on time. All I wanted to say is that we want a question from everybody.
yes.
So please write down the question in 10 minutes. I'll collect them. I'll pick the best ones, and we'll ask our panel. So you're good on time, Lisa.
Okay, good. Okay. If you guys shed a tear, I'm not gonna judge you or anything like that, okay? Because we're gonna dig a little bit deep, and maybe not. It's gonna be okay. So what motivates you or drives you to become successful in this industry?
I'll start this one, I guess. I guess my answer is pretty cliche. Truthfully, it is family, and for lack of better words, we are all motivated heavily by one thing, and that is finances, financial freedom. And and part of that is obviously, you know, not having to check your bank account every time you want to do something, right? And that, it sounds so shallow and it sounds cliche, but it's true, because I want to be able to support my future family. I don't have kids at the time. I want to be able to go travel and have these different experiences with, whether it's my parents or my brother or my husband, even with friends. And I really like being able to have the opportunity to create those memories and those moments. And that's kind of what drives me every morning when I wake up. It's, you know, failure is not an option for me, number one. That kind of goes along with my personality and who I am. But being able to wake up, to crush the day, to help others, and then be able to go and spend that time and make those memories with family and friends.
Nice.
I think mine's my son. He goes to work with me a lot. I mean, he's at team meetings, he's part of the team now. He goes to showings with me, he'll film tours with me, he'll even like start describing the
Wow.
houses. He'll be like, oh yeah, tall ceilings and exposed beams. And so, you know, we'll be at someone's house like, do you see these granite counters? I'm like, yeah, Gerson's top. So he's definitely a huge motivator, and you know, he tells his friends at school how he wants to be a real estate agent like his mom, and it just, he's proud, and it makes me really happy. And then on the other half of it, I get a lot of motivation. It's gonna sound interesting, but when people tell me I can't do something, oh, you can't be an
Ooh,
agent,
that's
or
good.
you can't work 3 jobs and be successful in real estate, or you can't do that, just watch me. Like, and that's what I wake up with, that drive.
We just became
Every
best
day.
friends. That's awesome.
This is a hard one. This is your best one so far. So my kids, of course. I wake up every day and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Like, if you take anything away from this, we are in first world problems right now that we can even sit here and have a panel and talk about this stuff, because there's a lot of terrible things happening all over the world. So first of all that matters is your family, your kids, and the people you love, first of all. So yes, that is my number one motivator. And then for real estate, I think I wake up every day, and if you're waking up every day and you're like, I don't have any business, I don't have any buyers or sellers, like, how can you help someone today? And that's in any industry. how can I help somebody today? And so, you know, same thing with Army and teaching and any industry you're in, you should wake up and try and make the world a better place. And so if not me, who is a question I ask myself a lot is, if you wake up one day and you're like, I'm just in a depressed mood and this is not my day and I don't want to get out of bed, the thing that gets me up out of bed on those days is, if not me, who? Like, who better to help someone than me? And I've come through the world with a lot of different life experiences, and so I'm a newer agent, but I'm not new to life, and I think that has been what has helped me succeed, is just meet people where they are, help them get to where they need to be, and listen. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I said you were gonna shed tears, not me. First of all, that was awesome. You guys are awesome. Which kind of leads me to my next question. As I, you know, investigate, troll, whatever, like the successful people, because if you want to be successful, what you do is you go to someone who's successful and you figure out what they do and just do it, make it your own. You don't have to do exactly the way that somebody does something. It's okay to take an idea or a concept and make it your own, and you guys have done that. But most successful people, like super successful in this industry or any industry, they have a daily routine, and I'm curious to know what your daily routine is.
So my day starts with my child running into my room, usually at like 5 a.m. and wants hugs and kisses, so that's how my day starts. Best way to start the day, I have to say. And then I try to make it to the gym, and where I hang out with like half the people from Round Table are at our gym now. And again, like, you're not gonna have showings every day. You're not gonna have listing appointments every day, but you do have to be in the business every day, whether that's sending homes, whether that's following up with people. So find a way to be in the business, and even if that's just go spend time in your broker's office and learn something. Be around people who are better than you. Surround yourself with, you know, your 5 people that are much smarter than you. I guarantee you will succeed if you do that.
Is there, I'm gonna caveat to that, is there a ritual that you do sometime in your day if you wake up and you are in a slump? And I say schlump, I said it on a video on the way here, that's beside the point. But when you're in a schlump and you're just like, I don't feel like working out or whatever, do you have a mantra or something to do to psych yourself up to say, let's do it?
I will be really frank. I listened to a sermon this morning from my church at 11:22. So, I mean, those are the things that get my mind right.
Yeah.
You know, so I listen to that to get me out of my own head, because at the end of the day, like, this isn't about me, and it's really about the people we're serving. And so if you can get yourself out of it and make it about others, that's really what it's all about. So yeah, like, I listen to worship music the whole way here today, like going crazy. So those are, you know, putting myself in music and the word helps a lot. Put my mind in
Real
that
estate
place.
and Jesus. She said it. She had it out there. I'm just saying.
That's my routine.
Thank you for sharing.
So mind you, I will be totally honest, my routine has not been a routine for the last 2 months, because my husband and I decided that it was a great idea with everything else going on that we needed to buy a house that had to be completely gutted and renovated. So that's what my routine has been as of the last 2 months. But prior to that, typically it's not my kids, it's my animals waking me up at 6:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and then I am either going to drive, which is like a high intensity workout class, I'm sure a handful of you here know that, or Pilates at 6 a.m., come home, get ready for the day, and then I'm immediately checking my calendar, what do I have for the day in my email, and just getting ready and prepared to kind of hit the road running.
Nice. Sarah?
I'm extremely type A. So I thrive off of to-do list and post-it notes. So every night before I go to sleep and my mind's running on everything I want to do the next day, I have my planner next to me and I write out everything I want to do. I do not time block personally. Gigi, don't read me for filth. I see you judging me. Yeah, so I do not time block at all, but I do have things every day, you know, I check my hot sheets every morning. My CRM I have on the computer, but I also created a binder because I'm a paper kind of gal, and I flip through everyone and what they're looking for and then compare it to my hot sheets. So that's a huge part of my, you know, morning routine after I drop my son off, and then it kind of branches into little pockets of either marketing or scheduling showings for the week or checking in on people that I haven't talked to in a bit. So it's really just a to-do list of things. I don't have set time schedule.
And do you work out?
I do. I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent at all when it comes to anything but work, to be perfectly honest. I have a home gym, and then, I make it to the gym when I can, but had the health stuff going on the last couple of weeks. I haven't been able to work out alone, so I always have to try to find a friend to go with me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I want to work out, so
hey, let's go.
your
Lisa.
to-do list. I'll bring my to-do list. You bring your to-do list, and we will do that. I don't work out. So, is there what, if anything, would stop you from doing this job? Just say, you know what? I'm gonna hang it up. Peace out. Anything.
I think if it didn't make me happy,
Oh.
it gets hard. Like, it's not easy breezy. You don't just open a door and close a deal. And, I was listening to you talk earlier. I'm an empath. And when you're in deals and people, there are ups and downs, I follow with that ups and downs. So learning to level that out is hard. It's not easy. And there's times where, I'll call Britt or I'll call Mike and I'm just like, hey, get my mind right, because am I being overreacting about this? Because we care just as much as they do. So I think if that started to overtake me and it went more down the negative toxic route, I'd hop out, because I'm not be able to serve others if I'm in that mind frame.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, because truthfully, I don't think there's anything else that would take me out of the real estate industry unless it was something that, wasn't filling my cup. I think the biggest thing with real estate that, you have to remember when you're dealing with people of various personality types, right? And you're also dealing with probably the most expensive thing that they own, or the only thing that gives them that amount of equity, right? You can experience a lot of different ups and downs with them, just as Sarah was saying. So, the only thing that I could picture is if I wasn't happy, or if there was something, from a family point where it would remove me from being able to work or being in the industry. But otherwise, I don't foresee myself ever leaving at this point.
The first thing that came to my mind was if something like medical happened with my kids, I would totally step away completely and just do that. And that was a big reason why I got out of the Army too. I was becoming that default parent for a lot of things. My husband works too, and so picking the kid up whenever someone popped hot for COVID at his daycare, I was that person. So if something medical were to happen with either of my kids, I would quit. Like, no questions asked. And I think if ever the work-life balance got out of whack and I couldn't get it back, I would have to figure out a way through or change to something that offered me that. And that's why I'm in real estate. It gives me the work-life balance that I was looking for. A teacher, we don't get paid enough. We work extreme hours. The Army, it's the same exact thing, except now you can deploy. And now I can actually, if I need to go pick up my kids because they threw up, I can do that. I'm my own boss, and I have supportive brokers who will help me. I've had that happen, like literally on a final walkthrough. My kid threw up at school, picked him up, he threw up on me in the parking lot, and I was able to call Roundtable and get someone to cover my final walkthrough. And so you just have that support. So always go to where you feel the most supported and have the best work-life balance.
I love that. That is awesome. So you guys put a lot of, even though you're grinding every day, this does allow the autonomy. Well, you're running your own business. So you're in real estate, you have a license, guess what? You're a business owner. You run this business. I had my back to you the whole time? I'm sorry. Another best friend. Okay, so the thing is, you get out of it what you put into it. So you have to have that mindset of, like when you said, if not me, then who? So you guys are doing a great job, and that's what we do, on the mortgage side, is we're gonna get out of it what we put into it, and we're all learning, the new things and the new way of doing things, because there is new ways of doing things now, right? 30 years ago, we weren't doing this, posting and stuff like that. Well, you guys weren't probably born yet, but
Mom, can I ask a question?
Yes, son.
I have lots of questions here.
Yeah. Oh, yay!
Yes.
Good.
I had several comments. Congratulations. We appreciate Taylor Diaz for shining and leading the Rocco group. We all know about that, so lots of comments about that. So
Thank you.
appreciation your way.
Yes.
It's great. lots of questions about leads. So
That was my next
Elizabeth.
question, so that's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh, steal
I
your
know,
thunder.
go.
Elizabeth, what's your favorite way to generate leads?
So all my leads at this point come through Instagram. It's really cool how after about 6 months of really continuously posting video, I mean, thank you to my videographer, amazing. It just works. The algorithm bumps it up, and now I get messages every day or every other day from actual buyers. I had 2 buyers reach out to me 2 weeks ago, and within a week, last week, we got both of them under contract. So one was from Fort Myers, and one was moving from Tampa. And I get people from California, New York. They find me, and they reach out, and usually the message goes something like, "Hey, do you have the ability to take on another client?" Something like that. And I usually just follow it up with, "Yeah, do you have time for a call today?" And then we build that relationship in the first phone call. But yeah, that's pretty much where all my business comes from.
What are you posting
That's
about?
awesome.
What are your, all over the place?
So
Everyone's writing down.
in my B&I group, I finally figured out like what my tagline is when you have to do your 60-second elevator pitch.
Yeah.
And my tagline is like, I'm trying to raise the real estate IQ of everyone from first-time home buyers to retirees. And so if I'm providing a free educational resource that makes me irreplaceable to that person, that is what's going to make them want to work with me. So I'm trying to educate everyone in my sphere, regardless of whether we ever do a transaction together or not, so that even if we don't do a deal, you're like, "Hey, but I know a girl who knows what she's doing." And so you just have to stay informed. You need to be with a brokerage that's training, and putting that information out there to educate. Because we're doing this every day, but other people are only doing this every few years when they buy or sell something.
Is
So
that 2 or 3 posts a day, 1 post a day, 1 post a week?
depends on
all
the
over the
day.
place?
I mean, I will say that like I did not start out having a videographer. That's something that came later, when I could hire out, when I was like, I need to start delegating some tasks. But I will say having that backstock of videos that's batched, doing it in batches like that. I have little Dropbox folders of probably like 20 or 30 videos that have not gone up, that I'm like, first of all, this doesn't happen when you wake up in the morning. Like, it takes effort, and most of the time if you see me, I'm in gym clothes with a ponytail and tennis shoes. So I don't want to have to do this every day, and no one feels video ready every day. And so doing things in batches like that is great, because you're like, I feel comfortable in that. Sometimes when we do video, it's scripted. Sometimes it's off the cuff. I have a really great editor, Jonathan, thank you. And yeah, I think
Awesome.
having batches of content really helps. And then also putting it in stories like, here I am doing daily things with my kids, and here I am, I go to the gym. Like, people want to get to know you, and I did the door knocking, and I did the cold calling, and the drop pop. I did all of that, and you have to go do all the things till you figure out what it is that you succeed with. But when I figured out that social was how I was succeeding, I just doubled down on it, and it wasn't costing me anything. I wasn't paying for a videographer. I was like, this is what's getting people to respond to me. And people are reaching back. Like, I posted something about hometown heroes coming back, and just one little message, hey, would this apply to me? Let me connect you with my lender. And all of a sudden now he's pre-approved, we're looking for homes. So you just have to be posting constantly, keeping up with your messages, and actually responding to people. So it's the engagement back and forth. You can't just like pass off your page to someone else and hope that they do a good job. You actually need to be in charge of it and reading your own messages and responding to people.
Sarah, what's your feeling on leads? What's your go-to?
So I'm on a team, so we do have team-generated leads, but lately Sphere has picked up big time, which is great, which is one of my huge goals. I'm a social person and I'm an event planner, so I enjoy creating Galentine's parties or vision board parties or happy hours and cocktails, and I just have friends invite friends, and since then I realized it's worked well for me. It can get exhausting, so you kind of have to, make your boundaries of when you're going to be social and when you're not. But yeah, I like to throw events. I like to party, so I enjoy partying. It helps.
Awesome. Taylor, what's your thought?
So I, of course, am on a team too, as you all know. So we do have those team-generated leads. But for myself personally, when I first started those first 6 to 9 months that I mentioned, where I was kind of part-time, I was actually a solo agent at the time. I wasn't yet part of the Rocco group. And I decided to dive into the YouTube world, and I have not posted a YouTube video in I think a year and a half, 2 years now, and I still to this day get tons of leads from my personal YouTube page. So YouTube, I mean, social media as a whole is great. I do not dabble in the Instagram world and stuff like that because I'm just not great at the upkeep with that. But simple things like I did like one video a week, and like I said, I haven't posted a video on YouTube in a year and a half, and I still get leads from that. I think like my most quote viral video has like over 20,000 views on it or something like that. And it was like the most simple thing, like the 10 best things to do in Jacksonville, right? Like it didn't even have anything to do with real estate. And I think the biggest thing too, when you're trying to create those relationships, because trying to create those relationships with your customers is the biggest thing. So like just trying to be personal, trying to like be who you are, number one. I feel like a lot of times in sales, we feel like we have to be this prim and proper and very poised, and a lot of people can't relate to that. Obviously, there's certain personality types that are attracted to that, but not everybody is. People want to work with you, especially in sales, because they can relate to you. They like to know, they like to feel like they know you. Because the reality of it is, you go on a listing appointment, you're talking to somebody for 30 minutes to an hour, and then they're trusting you to sell their house. That's all they have to go off on and knowing you is 30 minutes to an hour, right? Same thing with the buyer. You have a buyer's appointment with them. Of course, you have a little bit more interaction with them over time through showings and stuff like that. But I would definitely say from like a lead perspective, anything where it's like face-to-face interaction and you can really establish that relationship where they can feel like they can get to know you. And again, when I say face-to-face, like social media is not technically face-to-face, but it's not a phone call, right? Like they can see you, they can see your body language, they can get to know a little bit more about you. So personally, I have found most success with YouTube, social media, whatever you want to call it, and then also just my Sphere data bank. I cannot stress enough reaching out to your Sphere and or past customers. I kind of encompass those all in one.
That's great. Any more questions you want to throw
I got a
out?
lot. Which, you want to go first?
Let's do one more question before I
Okay.
get into this. This is kind of
Sarah, I mean, obviously you're on a team. What advice do you have someone starting out? Should they start out on a team? Should they go solo? What's your thoughts?
I don't think there's one over the other, to be honest. I knew I wanted to be on a team. I needed the support. I don't like feeling incompetent. So like it was even hard for me to call title and ask simple questions because it's like, gosh, they're gonna think I'm stupid. So I wanted to join the team so I had the support of someone with the knowledge in the industry and the guidance of like, this is how you learn and this is what you should do and walk me through my deal. So I personally really enjoy being on a team. I'm still on that team. I think it's contributed a lot to, you know, my success over the 2 years and my growth and having the people to rely on, because again, the ups and downs of real estate gets tough. Like there's plenty of phone calls we have crying to each other throughout the year. So I enjoy it, but I think there's a lot of people that are saying door knocking or doing the cold calling and just going out there and trial and errors, and there's no right or wrong way. You just try it and see what works for you.
Excellent. Taylor, your thoughts? Obviously you're on the team.
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, I started off as a solo agent, and very similar to Sarah, I'm a lot bit of a perfectionist, and I didn't not like knowing things. I have no problem picking up a phone call and calling somebody and being like, hey, what do I need to know about this situation? Jason Kindler over there, I call him all the time for the most random questions. But really the draw to a team for me was, number one, the amount of experiences that you have the opportunity to have, right? And I'm not talking about me just personally with, you know, helping families. I'm not talking about just those experiences, but the experiences that you learn from the other people on the team as well, right? Like collectively on our team, there's over 30 years experience of real estate. I am one of the most experienced agents on our team, to put that into perspective, and I've only been in the industry for 3 years. So, you know, there's lots of things, like for example, I'm never gonna have the same experience. First of all, there's no transaction that is ever the same in real estate, right? I think we can all agree on that. But like Sarah and Liz are gonna have, you know, totally different experiences in real estate than I am. So being on a team, not only do you have the leverage of the team, right? So you have people in your back pocket, like Liz mentioned earlier, where she can call, you know, over to her brokerage and say, hey, I really need help. Can you go over here and help me out, right? You're not struggling, you're not reaching on your own. You have people that are there that are ready, willing, and able to help you, that want you to grow, that want to give you that support system. I don't know if I would ever go branch out on my own again, and I think part of that too is because I really love the camaraderie of the team. I love the support that we have for each other, and I also love being able to help the other agents on our team, to help them grow as well. So it's also like a two-way street kind of thing.
Awesome. Elizabeth, what's your thoughts?
So, oh, did it die? Did it? I think it died.
Oh.
Switch.
No, we died. Okay, well, I worked in music, so I know how to project. So my journey, I started out in Berkshire, and I trained there because they have a great training program. So shout out to Berkshire for having a great training program. Went to a team because that's what I was told I should do as a new agent. It just so happened that when I moved over the team, I was like about 3 months in, and that was right around the time that my sphere started to call me. And so I was bringing in a lot of just my own business, and I was like, this isn't working for me as far as financially. And I mean, if you need those leads to come in for you, then stay on the team. I think that's a great thing to do. But for me, it just didn't make sense. And so I went off on my own. I think the biggest takeaway I have to this question is interview at all the places. Mm-hmm. You know, I went to Berkshire because somebody told me I should go to Berkshire. I didn't know how it worked. You know, in the music world, 50 people apply for one spot. In real estate, pretty much you get the job if you're a good person. So I thought that I was like, oh my God, I got offered the job. This is amazing. And I'm like, oh, they offered the job to everyone. Okay. Then same thing happened. I was like, I'm a square peg in a round hole. I wasn't really fitting in at Berkshire. So, but I did like, you know, the cloud-based brokerage and the camaraderie of a team. So I did that. And I'm like, this isn't working for me financially, right? And so then I was like, I cannot be in 3 brokerages in 6 months. This is insane. And I was like, we are going to interview at all the places. And I will say, be open to suggestions because I interviewed at Keller Williams. I interviewed at Harris. I interviewed at all the places you can think. And you have to find what works for you. You know, Keller Williams works for somebody. Fluid works for somebody. For me, I was able to stop my interview process when I got to Round Table. So shout out to my front row here. Like, I have amazing brokers that, even though I'm not on a team, they're in my back pocket. Howard answers the phone at all hours, anytime. Keith, same thing, like we're on a group bed. So I got that family feel and that camaraderie from my own brokerage without being on a team. I feel so supported. I still feel so educated. We have a marketing director who I can bounce ideas off of. She makes me look so good. And yeah, just please, I beg of you, if you don't feel comfortable where you are, be open to interview at all the places until you find the one, because that's the one thing I wish I could go back to very first me and go, hey, like, guess what? You're going to get offered the job everywhere you go. Like, so just go to all the places and be open to learn. Because I will say, I sat in an interview with a Keller Williams guy, and gosh, I'm going to say his name wrong. But I learned something in that interview from even just interviewing with Keller. I took something that I took it with me into my business going forward. So there's something to be gleaned from every brokerage and every place you go. You just have to find what works for you.
So
Was Howard the only one that promised to take care of your kids' throw up? Is that
I will say, like, on the day, literally on the day I was interviewing at Round Table, my kid got sick, and I had to pick him up from school, and I was like, hi, so can I bring my kid with me to the, that's the only interview that I had to bring my child to, and I had my freaking 3-year-old bouncing on my legs for my interview with Howard, and he was just so cool.
And you got the job. Yay.
But don't stop, like, keep going, and I was looking, I had been looking for months before I finally found Round Table, and I think Britt at a lunch somewhere, where's Britt at? She's like, yeah, you should really try Round Table. Yeah, you should. Like 3 or 4 people told me I would love Round Table. And I was like, okay, I'll listen. And I did, and thank God I listened. So, yeah.
That's awesome. What I heard, the kind of like the main point is you surrounded yourself with people who would help you through this. So if you are just got your license, because we're talking to newbies here. If you're new or you know somebody who's new or you're mentoring somebody who's new, which is my next question, you don't have to do this alone. Because if you think you can do this alone, you probably can, but it could be so much better to glean off of the wisdom of others and surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, give you ideas, give you a couple of leads, make you look good on film, like all of those things. So that's awesome. That's what I have now at First Coast, and you don't find it everywhere, guys. Like, you just don't find it. It doesn't exist everywhere. It'd be great if it did, but be selective. It's okay, because you're worth it. It's your business. You can go wherever you want, and whoever's going to supply what you need, don't be hesitant to do that. So I like that. Thank you. We talked about, your sphere and where along those lines. Do you have one specific mentor, and what is one thing that they either said or did to kind of kick your butt into gear? If you have a mentor.
I'm going to start, and I'm just going to try and get this out of the way because I knew this question was coming, and of course, with Sarah, as most of us know, I'm trying to keep myself together. But my mentor was Sarah Rocco, who,
Yes.
as most of us do know, some of you don't, unfortunately passed away back in December. But I mean, I don't know if this thing is working again, but no, okay. I don't know, I might be loud enough, but there are a ton of things that I learned from Sarah. Oh, there we go, all right. From Sarah, and that I truthfully could write a novel on the many things that I learned from her and took away from our relationship for just shy of 3 years. But there were, I'm going to say 2 quick things
Go for it.
that she said. One was more so like a kicked my butt into gear type of thing, and the other was kind of just something that I almost repeat myself without knowing it sometimes on a daily basis. And she had a saying, which I know she got from one of her coaches, that was, you can do anything, but you can't do everything, right? And that statement can mean something totally different to me than it could to you, or it could to you, or to anybody else in this room, right? But I find myself almost on a daily basis saying that to myself. If I come across something that I haven't experienced before, because again, nothing is ever the same in real estate, guys, right? There's never a right answer, and you're gonna have to figure it out a lot of time. You're going to be in the trenches a lot. And there's ways around it, there's ways to find a solution, right? But I have to tell myself a lot, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do everything in life, but I can do anything, right? So that's just a saying, take it as you please, because again, everybody's gonna interpret that differently. But that is something that Sarah used to say that I would say, live by at this point. But I would say, the thing that really kicked my butt into gear, and it sounds funny, is Sarah really made me, or helped me, I should say, get in touch, this is gonna sound so weird, with my feminine or more vulnerable side. I have a very matter-of-fact personality. I always have. It doesn't mean to come off that way a lot of times. But I realized with certain personality types with customers, I wasn't clicking with them, right? Maybe on the buy side, I did really well with them. But on the listing side, I didn't do well with them. And I couldn't figure out what the disconnect was there. And I sat down with Sarah one day and I said, Sarah, I really need your help. I'm struggling here. I don't know why I can't get along with these types of sellers, or with this type of personality, because I really didn't have that issue on the buy side. But on the sell side, if you guys don't use the DISC personality traits, get good with them. And I am a D personality myself, and with D sellers, I just could not get it. And she said, Taylor, can I be quite frank with you? I said, yes, absolutely, please do. I love constructive criticism, right? And she said, you really need to get in touch with your feminine and more vulnerable side, right? As I was mentioning earlier, people want to know who you are. They want to get to know you. They want to make sure that you have their best interest at heart. They want to be able to have that connection, regardless of it being a professional transaction or a business transaction, right? They want to make sure that this doesn't just look like a dollar sign to you. Because at the end of the day, the second that they can smell the money breath, and the second they feel like you just want to get the transaction closed and that you don't have their best interest at heart, you don't have their back, it's lights out, right? They can smell it and they're like, okay, we're done, kind of thing. So when Sarah said that to me, I kind of had like this aha moment. I was like, okay, all right, you're right. I can't be this poised, harsh, not harsh, that's not the right word, but I can't be this very, straightforward person all the time, right? And I took that, and the next couple of appointments that I had, it was like a flip of the switch with the results on some things, right? And ever since then, I've realized, and I catch myself sometimes if I'm like in an appointment or if I'm just interacting with somebody and I'm registering, I'm kind of like checking out, or I'm just kind of like, okay, let's get through this conversation, let's get to the point. If I like change my tone of voice, if I, change my body language, if I change things, like talking like this, a lot of times is a lot more effective to people than talking like this and being a lot more harsh and stuff like that, right? So that's not necessarily going to be the case for everybody, right? But that was something that Sarah brought to my attention, and has really helped, not even just in the professional setting, but it's helped in the personal and in life in general. So I'd say that's the biggest thing I took away from Sarah, but there are many others that I could sit here and go on and ramble, but I won't.
Thank you. And what you said is like, what impacted you is a statement or a way of doing things that she probably learned from a coach. And that's what it's all about, guys, is coaching other people. And you may have learned one thing that you picked up from someone else, and they probably don't even know it, but it impacted your life so much that you share that, and it changes your life for the better. And you share that with other people, and it goes down from coach, from mentor to mentor to mentor, because I'm sure you're mentoring people now, so that's really important. So, but thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing those things.
Two things, I guess. The first being, no one can be you but you. So don't try to be anybody else. I think when you're trying to figure out your way in a new career, you look to emulate people like Sarah. I've seen Sarah's videos. She's amazing. I know she probably hated doing them, as do I. But it's something you do, but you can't do it like someone else. And when I think because I was a teacher and because I was a conductor in the Army, when I first started teaching, I wanted to be just like my high school band director. Well, he was kind of this, and that wasn't me. And it took me 6 months to figure out how to be the teacher I was, and my students bought in. And then same thing in the Army. I was not, but my soldiers loved me because I was so out of the box. And so same thing when you go into real estate, you have to just be you because there's no one else like you. Okay, so no one should be coming up here and looking us up online and trying to do what we're doing. Go do you the best you can do you. So that's number one. And then the second thing, and I think this is a friend of mine told me this at like a Christmas party when I was like 3 months into real estate. I'm like, how do I become a top producer, And she was like, you just have to not give a what anybody thinks. And, like there was a sermon in my church the other day, like talking about if you know whose you are, then you'll know who you are. And so I just go like you said, balls to the wall with, I know who I am. I don't really care what anybody thinks, but I'm going to put this information out there. I don't really care what I look like. I hope it's okay. But, at the end of the day, I have to provide value and education and do the thing, be myself the best I can. And I'm not going to be for everybody. But the people who I am for, your vibe will attract your tribe, and those are the people that you want to already work with you. So that's what I would do. Be you as much as you can be, and you will attract the people who want to work with you.
So good. So good.
I struggled with confidence big time when I started. I was nervous showing homes, or you get your first $1 million showing, you kind of freak out a little bit. You're like, gosh, what if I don't sound right, or what if I don't sound smart enough? How are they going to trust me? I struggled with confidence. Getting on Mike's team, Mike is big. He's a data nerd. He's a big knowledge guy. He sits there and reads numbers all day. It's sometimes really boring, to be honest. But it has helped so much because knowledge is power. I am in this landmark classroom, if not every week, every other week. Yeah, I'm on market distilleries calls every month. The more I know hyperlocal stats and what's going on in the market, and what neighborhoods are up and coming, and what's going on in the new construction, the more confident I feel when I'm meeting my clients out, or meeting new showings, or meeting a Zillow call I've never met before. It's helped so much, and it's bring fluid conversations, and it's brought, when I'm in negotiations, or I go to negotiation classes, or I chat with Gigi about listings or this, it's hard encountering other agents. I've been doing this for 15, 20 years. Okay, I've been doing it for 2. I'm trying. We're all here. We're all doing the same thing. so, being able to bring that knowledge to those situations has helped a lot, because while I'm in these classrooms, they've been doing it for 15, 20 years, and a lot of them, they're doing what they used to do. Like it's worked. They did the door knocking and they've got their sphere, and a lot of them, what I've encountered haven't figured out what's going on hyper locally. So that's helped big time being a new agent and kind of give me an upper hand.
So it's safe to say that what used to work doesn't necessarily is gonna always work and doesn't work today. Because let's face it, guys, we're on that train. We're on the social media train, we're on the...
Do not knock at my door.
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes it's easier to put your face out there than to put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like physically. But technology is like taking over. And if you are, not knocking on doors, because, we do that as well. So, but finding new ways to do things and be inventive and be creative and make it yourself is so important right now in order to be successful. So if you're a part-timer and you want to jump in full-time, technology is the way to do it. So you can be self-taught. I'm self-taught. Like I'm way older than you guys, like way older than you guys, and I had to learn to jump on the technology train. I can't even say it. That's how old I am. So I mean, this is the day and age where you have to put yourself out there. So I'll take one more question or maybe two more questions. Do you have any picked out?
The rest of the stack was very similar to
Similar?
what we
Okay.
talked about.
Okay.
A lot of people wanted to hear about where you got your leads. You guys covered that. A wide spectrum of where that was happening. Imposter syndrome came up a lot in the questions. And you guys really addressed that. Elizabeth, like, don't give up, whatever. Talked about, did you go full-time? Did you stay part-time? You guys really answered that question. It's really hard to be part-time. You got to go all in. So I think you guys have really nailed it, like we said, on a lot of the topics that people are asking for.
Yes, I love it. So because I am who I am, I'm going to ask this next question. It's not the last question. It's almost the last question. But can you tell me something funny that has happened since you've been in the industry? Just something funny.
Last week.
Interesting. Yeah, just pick one. Anytime.
Being a Zillow agent, I don't meet these people, and I just meet them on the property, which alone is scary as it is. And I think my top two stories that jump out is, one is I was showing a family a home. I knocked and everything. I had a showing set. I walk in, this man is in the bath.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Physically in the bath?
Oh, physically in the bath. I was like, here's the bathroom. Yeah, let's walk out. Like he was,
Wow.
It was intense. And then another one was an open door property that I was showing, and it was vacant, and it was on the west side, and I was doing a virtual tour for an out-of-town client, and it was open door, it's vacant. I didn't knock. I walk in, and there were squatters there. And about 6 people are running out of windows and jumping out of windows. The stove is still on, there's shampoo bottles on the bottom. Yeah, that one was scary, less funny, but those are the two that majorly jump out and kind of traumatized me.
Wow.
So I actually have a very similar story to Sarah on the first one, so I'm concerned that this is going to become a thing. So just
Oh
be
my
prepared. But to my understanding at the time, the seller was out of town, so I still knocked. Nobody answered, went in, we do the entire showing downstairs. Like I walked ahead of them, turned on the lights while they're walking through the downstairs. I waited to go upstairs to turn on the lights with them because I wanted to make sure I was like tending to them downstairs. And we go upstairs and I thought I heard a noise. Said hello again, got no response. And then all of a sudden, thankfully, he had a towel on, but opens up the door to the owner's suite and just walks out and is standing there in his towel. And he's like, what you doing? I'm like, confirmed showing at this time, so we'll head back downstairs and let you get changed. So that was my, I would say, funny one. I've got a lot of crazy stories, but we can save those for another day.
I mean, my funny story is like basically in line with theirs, but I will say it like, we've all walked in with
Has everyone caught somebody in the bathroom?
Yes.
Or whatever?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So as to not like repeat their stories, because mine was like some guy taking a dump, like it happens.
We could end right here.
Yeah.
No, that's
No, actually, okay, so here's how it happened though. Let's back up.
That wins.
Let's back up. towards the end of the open house, which, you know, if you have somebody come to your open house, they're like, yeah, I really like this one, but you know, there was one down the street. You're supposed to go, oh, let me see if it's a go and show, and I will take you to go see that one. Because sometimes that one will make your open house look better. And so this house that we, you know, I was like, well, I'm closing up. Let me close up and we'll go check that out. And so we close up, we go down there and we made the appointment. Same freaking thing. You walk in, well, it looked great in the pictures. That's the other thing with real estate. Y'all real estate photographers do an amazing job with making things into a Monet, as we say. But this is a Monet. It looked way better in the pictures. But yeah, we got there and he was in the bathroom and the whole place stank like dogs. It made my open house look amazing after that. So that happens. But I will say, if you really want funny experiences all the time, come to Round Table. It's a hoot. It's just a walking comedy show every single day over there. So.
Not like First Coast Mortgage Funding. We are very boring people, especially in the office.
Howard was an actor in LA, so I mean, he's got that comedic troupe background.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think all of us.
Failed actor.
Well,
Putting you on the spot.
but you're successful now, so that's all that matters. All of us have a successful person living inside of us. So the main thing, because I always have takeaways, especially when I'm picking someone's brain, which I do quite often, is three things: influence, impact, and income. So if you influence people, impact them in a positive way, then the income will come, right? That's good, write it down. I'm just saying, like, but that's just what I kept gathering and words come to me, but no, honestly, and I say that quite often, but it really stands true now. Just hearing you guys, how successful you are and how young you are. And I'm not gonna ask you how old you are until after. So that, because it gives me just hope, right? That I too can do this, even though, you know, we're in the same industry, we're in mortgages, you guys are in real estate, we love each other, we're best friends. And, you know, we create those relationships with other people, and if you impact them and influence them, your income will come. And another thing, money breath, never heard that before in my life, and I'm sure that we all have it. So if you do have money breath, it's not a bad thing. Just take a mint or two or some gum, okay, and compose yourself and be out there and influence people and impact people, and the income will come, guys. Because listen, being in this industry, I mean, we make doctor money, right? Like, if you're a doctor, great. But if you're not, I mean, this is a really good way to support your family and live out your dreams and get your goals. And not everybody is out there to make $1 million. But yay if you do, right? On accident. Was any of this on accident? Like, oh, I didn't know I was going to be so successful at this. Social media for me was an accident. I'm just like, I have to learn it, and I'm pretty creative, I think. And so it's just an accident that I'm teaching people or helping people how to do their social media, even though I don't have a huge presence. But other people are getting engagement and stuff like that, and I love to do it because I'm influencing them, impacting them, and then I strongly believe that when you help people, it will make its way back to you. Your blessings will come when you bless others, and sharing is caring. So if there was one thing, we're good on time?
A couple more minutes.
Couple more minutes.
Yes.
So real quick, one thing, let's just say, who here is a new realtor? Wow. Look at that. Wow. Okay. Well, congratulations, you guys.
They're already doing the right things, baby.
You're already doing the right things because you're here.
Yeah.
Doctor money, I'm just saying, don't have money breath. I'm just saying, you guys are like, the hard part's over. You got your license, right? That license will give you, that was the easy part.
It's very easy.
I'm not a realtor, you can tell, you can tell.
Very easy.
So the easy part is getting your real estate license. But you're there, the hard part, that's the easy part. But that part's over, and now you can make it whatever you want to make it. It is whatever you want to do, just go and do it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. One thing, did I already ask the question? Okay, newbies, that's right, you guys. So to those people, what is one piece of advice that you would tell them if you were talking to them face to face and they're like, Taylor, I'm thinking of, I just got my license. What advice would you give them?
I think my best advice I can give is, number one, don't be afraid to be who you are, right? Nobody is going to be able to do what you do as well as you do, right? So you can sit here, and as Liz was saying earlier, you could go look at all of our Instagram pages or any other big producer that you want to check out, you want to emulate. You might not be able to do what they do like they do it, right? So find your niche. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I feel like I'm getting back refurb here. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and you're already doing the right thing by like coming to these classes, trying to learn from people who are in the industry with you, who are boots on the ground. Like, shadow as much as you want, ask questions. Like, even if it's not somebody that's in your brokerage and you really admire them or you kind of like what they're doing, like, don't be afraid to reach out to them and be like, hey, can I come along with you on an appointment? Like, I tell the agents on our team all the time, like, even once you get through boot camp or you get through certain things, because the additional training that we do, like, don't just stop there. Like, keep shadowing people, keep going and putting yourself out in the field, learn different things, because really, until you experience something in real estate, you're not gonna know how to handle that situation, right? So dig 3 deep, ask 3 questions. If somebody has a concern or somebody has a question for you, ask 3 more questions to that question to really get down to the core of what their concern is or what their objection is or what they're trying to get to, right? Like, just don't be afraid to ask those questions. That's the biggest thing.
Nice. I would say have a heart for people. If that is the center of your business, then like you can't go wrong. If you're keeping the needs of others way above your own and waking up every day again and like just trying to help people, like even if you don't make a sale all year, but you woke up every day and you help somebody, like at least you can sleep at night knowing you did your absolute best. So I would say if that's not already like the forefront of your mind, do whatever work you need to do to make that be at the forefront of your mind. Because if you got into real estate to make a quick buck or because it was an easy entry, no, like we don't need those people here. You need to have a heart for people and helping others, and then you will succeed, like you said, impact and influence.
I love it.
Don't stop. Like, don't quit. I mean, you have to wake up and grind every day. It's the agents, you know, that start in the industry and, oh, well, I'll call people this day and not this day. Or I'll put out these, you know, cute little Popeyes this time, but not for the rest of the year. I mean, you got to be consistent. You have to do it every day. You wake up with that drive and you keep that drive. Because it's not gonna come unless you guys put in the work. It's not an easy thing. And especially if you don't have leads coming in from a, you know, another source, generating and getting out there and putting yourself out there and meeting people at bars, or, you know, like, I've been out with this one, she got a security guard to come and get pre-qualified. Like, she doesn't stop. You go out, you talk to everyone you can, you plan everything out and get all the softwares that you need. The systems and processes are everything, because they make it easier to be as consistent and as productive as you are. But, you know, I wake up, what can I do today? Like, oh, I got a couple hours, like, let me make these calls, or let me go and hop on this training, or you can't stop. That's biggest thing. I mean, for sure have it with the servant heart through and through, but you gotta know that the wheel has to keep turning, and that will come back, you know, anywhere between 6 to 12 months from now. So if it's your first year, you don't have a transaction, like, that's okay, because I didn't even start having sphere transactions till this year, honestly. So, and it has leveled up. Just don't stop.
One last thing, you have to be okay with failing forward. That is the biggest thing. Be okay with failing. You are going to fail in this industry. Brush it off, get back up, and get back on the horse, because that's just how you have to be in this industry.
That's a mic drop right there.
Nobody's out here being like, let me tell you all the listings I didn't get.
Yeah.
They happen, guys. Like,
Exactly.
I've had a lot more than I didn't than I did.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, there's some quote by Michael Jordan that's like about how many times he lost and failed and didn't make that hoop or whatever. Like, what do you call it? Not hoop. Basket. Yeah, basketball. That goal. Sports references. Woo. But I would say you have to, it's a numbers game. My dad used to sell encyclopedias door to door back in the 70s. And he would say, like, for every 100 doors you knock on, 10 might answer and maybe 1 might buy a set of encyclopedias. So you just have to talk to 100 people, and maybe one of them will do something with you. But you also cannot treat those 100 people all like a lead. You have to treat all 100 people you talk to like a friend that you're trying to help, like the security guard I was guarding the bathroom with for her. And hey, why are you renting? What car do you drive? You drive an Audi? Why? Like you're renting, but let's talk about this, you know? And like, well, how can I help this guy with his goals? And so if you can put yourself as in a friend place where you're trying to help people, and then don't quit. That's the thing.
Like so many songs went through my head. Don't Stop Believing. Like so many songs are rolling through my head. That's how I roll. But thank you, ladies. Gosh, wasn't this amazing? Thank you so much. I mean, I took a ton out of it. So thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Just one question? Anyone? No? You guys good? You have any questions for the audience? Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. I said question, but thank you, best friends. Guys, thanks for joining. You guys are amazing because you're here. It shows, even if you're just showing yourself, that you are building your business, you're asking people, you are educating yourself and wanting to get yourself out there. And I see people taking notes. That's awesome. So thank you. I appreciate it.